Well, hello everyone. Coming up on this very special episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. A lot has happened at Universal Orlando since our last show, so we have to talk about what happened and what we're going to be looking forward to as the year progresses, the year of 2021 that is. So, from various places around our universe, this is the Universal Edition of the DIS Unplugged. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to this week's episode. I shouldn't even say this week's episode because who knows when the next episode will actually be. Welcome to this episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host today, Craig Williams, and I am joined alongside by my co-host, Mr. Rhino.
Hello.
And then we are also joined by Dreams Unlimited travel agent Elaine Edwards. Hello, Elaine.
Hey, friends.
Okay, we have a really great episode for you today. And I know this seems like it's out of nowhere because for the longest time now, we've been talking about Universal and saying the Universal show is temporarily not a thing. And that was the case, but somewhere in the universe, I'm going to keep making universe puns as much as possible here. Somewhere in the universe, it all ended up working out that we have finally become a little bit more successful with Universal, and because of that, we are ready to go back full force into Universal. And so I wanted to kick it off in a nice way with a little live stream here, talking about what we've missed since the show has been off the air temporarily, and what is to be looked forward to in the future with Universal, because there is just so much happening right now. So I don't know what turned this all around. I don't know if it's everyone's excitement out there for Universal Orlando right now. I don't know if it's me saying on a weekly basis that unless you book vacations through Dreams Unlimited Travel, we're not able to actually do this show. I'm not quite sure what it was, but someone started booking some vacations, so now we get to have fun talking about Universal Orlando. So that's a great time to, of course, get these plugs off right away, so that way you know all the good stuff, like make sure you like the video, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel here, youtube.com/disunplugged. And if you are thinking about planning an upcoming trip to Universal Orlando, please use Dreams Unlimited Travel as your recommended agency for Universal Orlando. So we have lots of great agents like Elaine who can help you plan the best vacation, and you're going to ultimately probably learn something you didn't know about Universal if you use one of our travel agents. Heck, I learned something today that I didn't know through Elaine that makes me really regret at least 5 years of my life, if not a little bit more than that. But I don't know when it began, but we'll get all into that. So this is going to be a really fun episode. We're going to go through. Elaine, do you have any other kind of plugs in terms of using Dreams Unlimited Travel for a Universal vacation?
A big thing that I'm sure that we'll get into is a lot of people have their Disney vacations and they've got all of that set, but they don't know that they can even just buy Universal tickets through us. Even if you don't want to stay there and have a long trip, even if you want to visit for a day or two, you can get your tickets through us, and you actually get a added perk that you get into the park an hour early, which you don't get if you buy your tickets straight from Universal. So that's a benefit right there.
I just learned something today too now.
Oh, trust me, Rhino, we are going to learn a lot today. Wait till we get to the one. I feel embarrassed that we've been doing a Universal show, me particularly, now for this will be year 7, I think. And the one thing that Elaine taught me today, like I'm embarrassed and shocked at myself for not knowing it. And like I said, we'll get there. And I just want to also mention right at the beginning here, this is what's happening today, and I know that we will definitely do an episode on Universal Mardi Gras coming up, but I'm not quite sure when this will go back to a definite weekly format, hopefully sooner than later, but I know that Pete also has some plans with this show as well too, so I don't want to I don't want to say that it will be necessarily weekly right away. We'll try to keep the content coming because there is a lot happening from Universal right now, but this one at the very least is a nice little special fun way to enjoy our Friday. And yes, I'm very excited for it. So why don't we get into the actual Universal news instead of talking about how we're going to talk about Universal over and over again. That gets boring after a while. So first up, I feel like we have to bring up Jurassic World VelociCoaster, because since the months that we haven't been doing this show, this thing has just been chugging along. It feels like it's just one step after the next. After the track was shortly finished, then it wasn't long before you saw actual vehicles on the track running, and then getting an up close look at the actual vehicles themselves, which just look so amazing. And I mean, it's almost nerve wracking for Rhino, I'm sure, because this thing's going upside down 4 times, and no horse collar harness. What's a harness? No horse collar harness over top of you. So Rhino's probably just going to straight fall out. And then, after vehicles are running that track, then Universal's already putting people on so that way they can start working on their promotions. And so this thing that's touted is coming summer of 2021. It seems like it could be here tomorrow. But
that's what I've been thinking. Is it just they keep saying summer, which, I thought it was going to be a churro stand. I mean, I don't know where this coaster came from, but so they keep saying summer, but I mean, they've already got people going on it. So, I mean, hopefully maybe soon.
Yeah, it's got a long, I don't want to say a long ways to go, because obviously summer isn't even that long away, but there is a lot of testing that the attraction has to go through. And while I understand that the build for the VelociCoaster was a lot more simple than Hagrid's and everything that went into Hagrid's, I also don't believe that they want another Hagrid's on their hands where you open it up to 9-10 longer hour waits and then it's not working flawlessly. I mean, it took Hagrid's a really long time to get going and working in a way that was definitely meeting guest satisfaction. So I don't think Universal wants that on their hands. And just as a regular attraction that goes through all the final tests and stuff before it's able to run for day guests, there's still a little ways to go, but it's, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for this thing. And, it almost feels like hopefully we get a surprise in late spring, better than summer, soft open for a couple months. I used to enjoy Universal's approach on that, of basically opening up an attraction a month early for the technical rehearsals before then launching into the opening. And so I hope that's probably going to be the path that they ultimately take. But I'm so blown away with how fast this attraction has come together, and it looks incredible. If I didn't live in Orlando, I would literally be booking a vacation to come and experience this thing, because it looks that good.
Well, it's a shame too, because it's like I just checked when the 3rd Jurassic World movie is coming out, and it looks like it's been pushed because of obviously the pandemic and everything like that now it's being released in 2022. But I think originally it was set to debut this summer as well. So it would have been interesting to see like a coaster in the movie come out at the same time. But it's still like anytime there's any sort of Jurassic content, I'm here for it. So have you watched that show on Netflix, the one that's like Jurassic Camp or something?
I have not watched it.
I haven't watched it, but I'm all over Jurassic Park. I mean, I said the last time that I've been down several times in 2020, and the last time I was there, I think I even posted something on Instagram that said if I could only go in one ride, it would be Jurassic Park because I love it.
Yeah. It's just that it's that great, like, it's that, you know, we have the nostalgic part of it with the classic
Right.
Jurassic Park ride, and then we have this
And
new,
that's what it is
like,
for me.
cutting edge coaster. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is for me. It's all nostalgic. So
It's very exciting, and you know, Rhino, you're pretty on the nose. I think that when they maybe put out the summer release, I think that might have been in line with hoping that the opening would align right with the movie and have that synergy together. But now that the movie's pushed back, they're obviously not going to wait on a roller coaster that is basically ready to go. You know, the sign is up. The Raptors have been uncovered from their protective plastic. Like, this thing it's moving at a good pace. So hopefully it won't be too much longer before we get our first rides on the Jurassic World VelociCoaster, but we will, of course, keep you updated on that. And speaking of openings, there is a very big thing that is reopening at Universal Orlando on February 27th, and that is Volcano Bay. You might remember Volcano Bay as that third theme park at Universal or water park that, all depends on how you want to look at it, but it closed back in November as part of a seasonal closure with maintenance being performed and other various tasks, and the fact that, Volcano Bay's closed half of the days anyways in the middle of winter when it's far too cold to actually go to a water park. But it will be reopening on February 27th, which is very exciting. I mean, we have just today here in Orlando, it's already 75. It's going to get up to like 79 degrees today. So this would be like, it would have been cold in the morning for the water park, but by the end of the afternoon here, it would have been perfect water park weather. And yeah, I know a lot of people are excited to get back in. And so with that too, tickets for Volcano Bay are now available to start purchasing again. And then, of course, annual passes that included and vacation packages will be coming as well too. But it's very exciting. Elaine, are there a lot of Dreams clients that like going to Volcano Bay, or is it not a huge draw?
yes, so we were very surprised that it's reopening in February because originally we had been told March when they shut it down seasonally last November. So a lot of people had actually taken it off of their package or off of their tickets and had downgraded from 3 days down to 2 days. And now it's back earlier than we thought it was going to be. So I'm really excited. I love Volcano Bay. I really love it when I stay at Cabana Bay Resort because you can literally just walk in the back door entrance to Volcano Bay. So I think it is a fantastic place to go, and I definitely recommend it.
Is it pretty popular with Dreams? Is it that a lot of people are actually going? Because that's the one thing that I've never been able to quite gauge fully. Like, it's always busy anytime I'm there, but you always wonder, like, is it just because the park isn't that big in and of itself? But it's always been something I've been interested in.
I would say for me personally, about 50% of my clients choose to visit Volcano Bay, which is a lot more than, in comparison, my Disney clients that visit Disney's water parks. So it's definitely a higher rate of people that visit it because it's just so convenient. It's right there. And if you have 3 park-to-park tickets, you could spend the morning in a park, go back to your hotel, and then head out and spend the afternoon in Volcano Bay. I mean, and then go to City Walk for dinner. I mean, I love it. It's convenient and it's awesome.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you 100% on it. So very exciting. Volcano Bay coming back February 27th. So get excited for it. Now we're going to kind of go back in time to one of the things that we missed in all of our gap in coverage here with Universal Orlando. And that's the fact that after a pandemic happened and months of waiting, that Dockside Inn and Suites at Universal's Endless Summer finally actually opened up back in December. And right now it is the only true value hotel that actually is open at Universal Orlando. They do not have Universal's Endless Summer Surfside Inn and Suites opened up, so your only choice with that is Dockside Inn, and then from there you have to start looking up towards Cabana Bay Beach Resort, and then after that you're going for the deluxe properties, Hard Rock Hotel, Portofino Bay, that also reopened in the time that we've been missing, as well as Royal Pacific, and those are your hotels that you can currently stay at Universal Orlando. So I still haven't gotten over to Dockside Inn and Suites yet. It's one of those things that I really wanted to go, but at the same time too, when we're not covering Universal, I do not have enough time and or money to necessarily go and just have a fun vacation there. So I still haven't been yet. Elaine, I don't think you've been back in Florida since it reopened. So
No, and I haven't been over there. I haven't seen Dockside and Surfside. I mean, they're essentially the same thing. It's just what theming do you want in your room. But they really are a really great choice if you need more space and you want to get one of those suites, and they're really good priced. I mean, some of the prices on these are amazing. So, but yeah, we don't know as far as like Aventura or Sapphire Falls. We don't know. We don't have reopening dates for those yet either. So,
yeah, I feel like it's Rhino's fault potentially that Dockside took so long to open, because he was one of the last people inside of it before it then completely shut down. So Rhino, it's been like 10 months since you actually stepped foot in there. So can you just share what your feelings were from your tour that you got of it that one day?
Yeah, if anybody is curious what it does look and feel like in there, there is I did do an overview video of the things that I saw on that day, so you can see the pool, the rooms, the lobby, and all that sort of stuff. That's on the DIS YouTube channel, youtube.com/wdwinfo. But it's like what Elaine said, is essentially the two hotels are the same exact setup. It's just the theming is slightly different. So like one, you're literally on the beach, like it is the beach, and the other one is the dock. And for me, I think I actually prefer the dock. Not having stayed there, just walking around, is that I think the aesthetic of Dockside calls to me a little more than the beach. I don't know. So, but the rooms, it's like what Elaine said. The rooms were very spacious because they showed us the suites and the standard rooms, and I don't know. They're right next to each other. They're literally like right across from each other. But
I'm looking forward. What?
Yeah, I was gonna say my journey in there was only for about 20 minutes, so I don't have too much to say about it. I haven't tried any food or anything like that, but I will say it looked like the food court had some cool and interesting options, and hopefully that kind of the execution of that goes a little bit better than the experience we had at Surfside Inn. But I don't know what that. I'm assuming they got that all worked out later down the road. But
I don't know about that, but I'm looking forward to potentially starting a bubble with you, so that way we can go to Dockside together one day and make sure that we have some late night pizza laying on the bed together. It was very special.
That was dreamy.
It was really nice. So one day we'll get back to that, but not until we have our little bubble together. But okay, we're gonna move away from Dockside Inn and Suites, and with those were all the things that are coming or opening or opened in this case, and now we're gonna focus on two beloved staples of Universal Orlando that are now unfortunately gone forever. And the first one that we will get to is the long-running popular show Blue Man Group. And this was announced on social media. Blue Man Group released a post that said thank you to the Blue Man Orlando cast, crew, and staff for more than 6,000 shows, and to the millions of fans who shared in our incredible 14-year run, because they are no longer hosting their show there. And I don't want to sound like negative or mean or anything on it, but this one has just felt like a long time coming. I know that there's always been rumors about Blue Man Group being evicted from this theater space so that way they can bring in a musical or some other show, and none of that has ever really come to pass. But now, who knows what will take place in that actual theater. So I as much as I mean towards Blue Man Group, the more I did think about it and was talking with friends about it, it's one of those shows that actually did have a good purpose in Universal and fit in well there, because it's one of those things that it filled that demographic for being good for kids who like lots of flashing and loud noises and high energy fun. But then also because of the way the show is set up, it's one of those shows that anyone from any background could walk in, and I don't want to say necessarily understand what was happening, because I saw it and I didn't understand what was happening, but I don't, like, anyone can get it. You don't have to necessarily speak English. It doesn't need to be your first language. I think you could literally not speak a word of English and still find some way to enjoy what's happening in Blue Man Group. And so that helps sell tickets, that it's kind of universal for everyone. But yeah, it's no longer a part of the Universal family. And I know, Rhino, you've never seen the show, so that's...
No, I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed the fad. I saw Stomp when I was a kid in high school, and it was like Stomp and Blue Man Group, I feel like, kind of came to fame around that same era of like that kind of experimental type of theater experience or something, if you want to call it that. And so, yeah, I always said, like, one of the days I'll go. I guess I missed that shot. Do what you want to do. Don't wait for anything anymore. We've learned that.
Well, what you said, Craig, is that it gives a really good option, because if you're traveling with just adults and you're at Universal after the parks close, then you have options at City Walk and some of the restaurants and the bars and clubs and that kind of thing there. But if you have a family, then it gives you something to do in the evening. And I mean, if you have a whole song about butts, there you go. What's not to love, right?
Is there a Bob's Burgers musical or something? What? Do the Blue Man Group sing about butts?
They have a whole song about butts and all the different names you can call your butt.
Wow. I wish I had seen this show.
I don't believe you one bit when you say that. I feel like you might be lying about that.
Well, we can't tell now.
Rhino. No, it's...
No!
Oh, you didn't believe my enthusiasm about butts?
Yes.
You clearly haven't been listening to my After Dark podcast.
Wow. Yeah, unfortunately.
Hold on to your butts, the Samuel L. Jackson podcast.
Well, you're not gonna get your butt action from Blue Man Group now, so you're gonna have to look for another place to get that. But
can we work in a Tobias Funke joke here somewhere about joining the Blue Man Group? But I know it's questionable.
I feel like I blew that opportunity. So. But yeah, it's now if you're a family, your options for after the park closes, you can go see a movie, you can sit in your room quiet together, or you can play mini golf. Yeah, I know, but mini golf, mini golf is one of those activities where it is fun, but it feels like it's over before it just got started.
Yeah. Well, and over at Cabana Bay, I have a lot of families that I say go to Cabana Bay, because once the parks close, you've got the options of, they have multiple pools, they have the lazy river, they have a bowling alley there. So it's a great place for families.
That's a good point. Another good point that you made. That's why you're here today. So so Blue Man Group outside of the park, gone. Let's look at what's gone inside the park. This was just this week that Universal Orlando's Twitter officially confirmed that A Day in the Park with Barney is
Oh,
also now closed
no.
forever. And yeah, Rhino, that's right. No more adventures with
Mr.
Mr. Peekaboo.
Peekaboo
He's gone.
out on the streets.
Yeah.
Maybe they left him the house.
Yeah, I think we talked about that around Halloween time, where that would be the scariest maze that they could ever make at all, was just walking through Mr. Peekaboo's house and being in that area, and Mr. Peekaboo's just sitting there.
Just opens the door, just walks out and goes back in and closes the door.
So this is not surprising news. Of course, Kid Zone has always been wrapped up in rumors for the longest time. Going back, the last biggest one was before Epic Universe had really come to fruition and became real. The entire Kid Zone area was one of the first spots that they were looking at putting Nintendo inside Universal Studios Florida, and that obviously didn't happen, but kind of still put a question mark on this entire area. A Day in the Park with Barney, Curious George Goes to Town, Woody Woodpeckers, Nut House Coaster, like all of that just was kind of up in the air of will this be around for a long time. And while Curious George is still there, and Fievel, I forgot Fievel's Playland is part of it, and Woody Woodpeckers, Nut House Coaster, they're all there, but A Day in the Park with Barney is now gone. And it's I'm not sad about it, but I'm also admittedly a 30-year-old man who has no kids right now, so this is the furthest thing from being in my wheelhouse, and it is not aimed at my demographics at all. But I've been paying attention to a lot of people's thoughts on it as the news was really rapidly spreading, and I again, just because I'm not in that demographic or have that perspective, a lot of people were saying that it was very sensory friendly for a lot of kids, especially kids who don't like a lot of high energy, flashing, loud environments. That A Day in the Park with Barney was kind of a very easygoing experience that was very friendly to everyone out there. So it would be interesting to see if they have an idea down the road to replace it, or is this the start of them really trying to not cater to that demographic at all anymore, and say, hey, we'll give you a couple playgrounds and that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's the big thing that I was like, when they took it away, I was like, well, there goes kind of the thing for like the little kids. But also, I mean, I like Barney just fine. I like you said, it's not for me, but I'm interested to see, does Barney disappear from the park completely and entirely, or will he still come out for like social distance meet and greets like he was doing for around Halloween? I feel like we saw him there. Because I feel like Purple Dinosaur merchandise still sells must sell well enough. I don't know. I mean, Barney's a staple of like child programming. I don't know. Seems weird. I don't know if they're just letting go of it, if it even belongs to Universal or not.
I don't believe it actually belongs to Universal. It was just another licensed character of
that makes sense then.
Universal. But Elaine, did you ever take your kids to Barney way back when they were younger? Because I know your kids are way out of that age range now.
Yeah, no, I didn't, because I actually waited a long time to take my kids to Universal because I wanted them to be older so that there was a lot more for them to enjoy. That is the issue with Universal, is there just isn't a lot of things for young kids to do there. You have a few sections and a few attractions that they can enjoy, but other than that, it's really made for adults and older kids. So I personally chose to wait before I started taking my kids there because I wanted them to be able to enjoy the whole vacation.
It's either way, it's sad. We will miss Mr. Peekaboo for as long as time moves on, or something.
Gone
like
but
that.
not forgotten.
And I was just surprised. I was watching something the other day, and the name Aloysius popped up, and I was like, "Oh, you mean like Aloysius Peekaboo?" and realized I never heard anyone before with the name Aloysius, but it's all just
It
come
sounded
together
made
now.
up.
It
It still sounds made up.
It does
It sounds
sound
like
made-
something a genie would be named.
Yeah, but granted, all names were made up sometime. So yeah.
What's Craig?
I think
What's
it's-
Ryan?
I
It
think-
sounds like a rock. I don't know.
That's what I was about to say. Craig, I think it's Irish for like rock. I think all names eventually go back to like rock one day. Elaine
Yeah.
originally came from rock.
Rock.
Elaine means light. Thank you very much. I am a shining
rock.
light.
Light as a rock. Light as a rock. We figured it out there. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. That is it for what has now closed at Universal in this catching up event here. And so now, before we get to the final thing we're going to talk about, we're actually going to take a trip to Universal Studios Japan and just briefly mention the big opening over at Universal Studios Japan, of course, which is their Super Nintendo World. It is now officially open. And has anyone else besides me been actually paying attention to what it's like watching the videos of the attractions and getting a feel for the park? You have been?
Yeah.
What?
Well, not like everything, but I did watch that ride through, like the walkthrough of the castle with the ride through, and I've been looking at like photos and stuff like that of the other one, the Yoshi's one.
Yeah. What is your take on it from everything that's coming out of there?
I still think, like, even with the videos and everything, that the land's production, like the architecture and like the creation of it, is still incredible to me. Like, it's crazy how they've nailed the aesthetic of literally what it's like to look at this video game and be in the video game. I was surprised about, so if you don't want to know anything about the attraction, I'm going to start talking about it right now. So maybe don't listen if you think you're going to ride it at any point in Universal Japan or something. But
let's keep it to a bare minimum of this, because I know eventually we're going to do a more in-depth episode about it, but just keep that in mind.
Just in general, I'll say that I mean, hearing that it was a slow-moving dark ride, I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. But at the same time, when I watched the ride through of it, I was like, I think the scenery of what they created, I was like, I would be upset if I had rushed through this. So I think it looks cool, and I'm still just as excited for this land to hopefully one day experience it as I was hoping to before, because I still think it looks great, and I've wanted to go to Japan. That was going to be like my big goal for like 2020. So I still really want to go out there and be able to visit Universal and see this place.
Yeah, you definitely can't judge any attraction based on watching the ride-throughs online. It's a great way to get an idea of what they're going to be like and prepare yourself, so that way you know where to look and how to experience it. But take Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom as a good example of this. If you're watching a ride through a Flight of Passage, there is no way it's going to sell that experience. It's just watching a movie.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But then once you're in that environment, once you have the 3D glasses on and you're feeling the movements, you feel the wind, you smell the smells. Once you get all of that together, then all of a sudden it becomes a state-of-the-art experience. So you can never just base anything on watching the ride-throughs. It's not, and I say that as a person who does this for a living, trying to capture the best takes on ride-throughs of all these attractions. Just sometimes you are never going to be able to match it. And with Mario Kart being an augmented reality ride, like that's even more difficult. That adds extra layers to it. I watched I started with the teaser. I haven't watched the full video because deep down I'm like, I don't want it spoiled for me. But watching that last 30 seconds.
I didn't watch the end.
Okay, and see that was the first part that leaked. It was like the last 30 seconds of the ride, and I watched
Oh.
all of that, and I was like, it had no sets or scenery in that part. The ending was pretty much all screens
Oh.
until you move out of the end. And just watching the video of it, I was like, oh my gosh, I instantly went and put on Mario Kart and started playing it. I was like, I need to be all in this.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and in the Yoshi ride, I think it looks pretty cute as well too. It definitely family
It's for
friendly.
kids. It's for little kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the yeah. I was literally watching the ride through, and I was like, how would we even film this? Because I don't know how the person filmed it, but it was like the glass is over the camera, so it's hard to kind of see both things. And I just wanted to get a feel for what it was like. I didn't watch the entire ride through because I was just like, well, I'm not getting a good visual of the whole thing. So, but from what I could tell, because I'm most interested in the scenery more than anything else. But
Yeah.
I will say, as someone who gets sick pretty often, I am fairly happy it doesn't spin massively or anything like that. At least the little bits I saw. I know it does spin, but not like crazy.
But it just
we're never
looks-
gonna get it here.
What?
I think it'll be like 2035 before Nintendo opens in Orlando.
Nah,
I think it's unrealistic to think it's coming here anytime in the future.
Well, it's so part of what we haven't talked about in this, and we're not going to talk about, but we can loop it back in. But with Universal, they finally hit their break even at the last report that they released, their last earnings report. So they are at break even, which is a good sign. We obviously don't want to see it slip back down, and to really go full on crazy, like build a new theme park, they need to get in a financially better position. But I still expect to see their model of one new attraction a year in the parks, even in the midst of where they're at currently. But you're all right. I think we're not quite to that point yet where they're ready to go all out and crazy. But the fact is, over at Hollywood, I don't have a photo for it because, well, we're not in Hollywood and we don't have a Hollywood correspondent right now. But in Hollywood, I mean, they're still moving along on construction. You can see their hills and you see the green, and it's coming along. And so the fact is, They know that when Hollywood does reopen down the road, they need to get Mario Kart open sooner than later, so that way they can really start driving money back into that park. But it's going to be on their minds in Orlando as well too. So it's not.
Well,
I don't think it's as far out as like saying something like 2033. I know you're using hyperbole on that, but
35.
sorry, my bad.
I like the solid 5 number. No, but I think Hollywood has the benefit of being located literally on top of their movie studio. So, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, Orlando is in that little bit. I feel like they're in the scarier zone, being like, this park has to always make money or we're screwed. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll happily go to California and go on the one out there. I can't wait. Like, I'm definitely make a trip for that one.
It's the second I can safely get to Tokyo for the first time and get to Japan and hopefully even China in there too, and start seeing all these international parks. I want, the second I can do it safely, I actually want to do that. Just looking at Super Nintendo World, it just looks so mind blowing from everything that's coming out, and like a lot of the interactive elements of the land, I'm not super impressed by. So I'll make sure I throw a link into the description here of TDR Explorers videos on it, because I feel like that's a great overview of the entire experience of Super Nintendo World. And so the interactive environment elements there don't really blow me away, but the two attractions I think look very, very cool, and the dining and merchandise that comes along with it also looks pretty amazing. But I'm also that type of person. I got super excited about the wand experience when it came to Universal with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I think I've maybe taken my wand in the park like 3 times, because after you do it once, it's just like, it's the same stuff over and over. And I know that it can apply with attractions and everything else, but yeah, it's just those interactive things. And even like over at Disney with when we had Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom and some of the stuff at Epcot, like that stuff gets old to me very quickly. But I know a lot of people love it, and it's a staple of every vacation. So I think it's just your mileage may vary in that regard. So, Elaine, any thoughts on this? Have you been paying attention to it?
So I have been superficially paying attention to it. I don't seek out all of the videos and pictures and everything, but I've watched what they've released, and I never watch ride-through videos because I want to be able to experience for myself, and I want to be. I don't want any of the surprises. I don't want, like, all of the rides that have come out recently. I never watched any of their ride-through videos that you make, which are beautiful, and I love them, but I won't watch them until after I've ridden it. But when they announced Epic Universe coming to Orlando, I was like, yes, we're going to get Mario Land. But gosh, it feels like it's going to be forever before it actually gets here.
It will feel like forever, but yeah, I mean, there's no easy way of putting it. It's going to still be forever for us, but hopefully it's just
What I like about it is that it does look like it is going to be truly immersive, and that's what really gets me, is when they create rides, lands, experiences that are truly immersive. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's the name of the game, immersion in theme parks. So, like I said, we will go a little bit more in depth in the future on Super Nintendo World and really kind of go over everything that's there and what to expect, especially with Universal Orlando and Hollywood. But that's not in this episode. This is just a catch up again. So before we finish off with our last topic, Elaine has some more updates of stuff that pertains with actually traveling and interesting points, like the one thing that I was losing my mind about because I didn't already know. So I'm going to throw it over to Elaine for Elaine's updates.
Yes. So if you are planning on traveling to Universal over the next several months, there's some things that you do want to keep in mind. One of them that we got information about the very last week of December was that they are telling us that table service restaurants are requiring advance reservations. They are 100% discouraging walk-ups for that right now. So you can actually make advanced dining reservations for Universal 180 days in advance still. And you can do that on their website. You can do it by phone. Most of the City Walk restaurants, you can actually use the Open Table app, which is my preferred way of doing it. And it's really easy to cancel, change them, that kind of thing. So that's something to keep in mind if you're planning on going over there, or even if you were just going to go over to City Walk and have dinner, is that you want to make sure that you get that reservation in advance. And we thought maybe this was just for the holiday season, but it has continued. And I keep asking, is this still in effect? And I keep getting told yes. So I don't know if this is a permanent thing. I don't know how long this is going to last, but something to know for now. Also, recently, military tickets were released. They're doing something completely different this year. They have a new military ticket that is, you buy it once. It's about $250 for a 3-part ticket, and it's good for the entire year of 2021. So it's kind of like an annual pass for all of 2021. So if you're eligible for that, that is something that Dreams Unlimited Travel can sell, the military tickets and the military discounted rooms. We can put it together as a package for you. Also, hello. They were so excited.
They were.
So anyways.
Mail.
Mail. They ordered their tickets. So Another thing, which we talked about at the very beginning of the show, is even if you just need tickets, if you're not planning a package, you can get those through Dreams, and you will get early entry into the parks, which without even staying on site, which is a awesome benefit. Another thing going on right now is they are doing their buy 12 months annual pass, get 3 months free. So you have a 15-month annual pass. Yes, Dreams can, again, get this for you, as well as annual pass discounted rooms if you already have one. We can also package it all together. But the fun thing with the annual pass is that you can purchase it now. I believe the deal is running through the end of March. You can purchase it now, and that 15 months doesn't start until you activate it. So I have a guest that just purchased this, and he doesn't plan to activate it until June. So that's going to actually cover a whole year plus another summer for him. So it is a really good deal right now. There's a lot going on. If you already have a Dreams Unlimited travel agent that you've worked with in the past for Disney or for Disney Cruise Line, you can reach out to them and they can help you. Or if not, of course, you are welcome to contact me.
Absolutely. That was the one thing I had never known before. I didn't know that we could but buy annual passes through Dreams Unlimited Travel. And so all of these years.
Why have we not been doing that for 5 years? Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's we could have been getting our commission back all of these years on annual passes, unless it's been one of those things where it just started like a year or two ago. But and that's like nerdy stuff that isn't really necessarily helpful for everyone who's sitting here watching it, but for us who are in the travel industry, like that would have been really good to know. So now it's good to know too for everyone else out there that it's a way to definitely get your universal fix if you want an annual pass. You don't have to necessarily say to yourself, "Oh, can't use Dreams Unlimited Travel because I want an annual pass." As Elaine just pointed it out, it's an open door for you. You can still support Dreams and us here at the DIS that way. So consider it. And thank you very much for all those updates, Elaine.
Yes.
Okay. That was epic in terms of how long it took you to respond. I didn't know if that was my internet or if it was just you thinking, I don't have to talk anymore. I just talked for like 3 minutes straight.
That's what I thought. I didn't know it was coming back. I wasn't prepared.
Oh, that's funny.
It's fine. You weren't prepared to accept the award. It's fine. It's a true winner, whether it's the Oscars, the Golden Globes, or the Emmys. You know, they're never prepared to truly win and have to speak. So I totally get it. But okay, our last thing before we go here and wrap up this episode, because we said we're going to talk about things that are coming up as well, and that is that tomorrow is officially the start of Universal Mardi Gras. And of course, this is a bit different than a normal event happening at Universal Orlando. It's different from normal Universal Mardi Gras with the parade and plenty of food and concerts. This is going to be very, very different in that regard. It is still going to have tons of food. It is celebrating Carnival celebrations from all around the world, featuring cuisine from New Orleans, Puerto Rico, Spain, Germany, very similar to how they did it last year, where even though that event didn't run very long because of everything that happened with COVID, but really trying to focus on different cultures and showcase the food from other regions besides just New Orleans. So that is going to be a big staple of Universal Mardi Gras. And then they are still going to have the floats out on display so that way you can see them, which of course is fun. And they've still promised beads.
Bees?
Thank you, Rhino. They still promised beads to be handed out as well. I guess at the very least, it says beads in the press release, so I'm going to trust them on beads. But then also They will have entertainment, music in the streets, not big concerts like they've had, just entertainment as well too. And it feels like it'll be a way to still get in that Mardi Gras spirit. And then today was the start of annual pass looks inside the tribute store, and I haven't been in it yet. Obviously, I'm sitting here doing this, but yesterday Universal released video of inside the tribute store, walking tour of it with no one inside it at all, which is the way I like to look at stuff. So you can always see that video by going to universal.wdwinfo.com, or we'll have a link to that in the description of the video as well too, and you can get a look at what that looks like. And yeah, we will be back sometime next week with a recap of our experience though at Universal Mardi Gras, and showcase some of the food items maybe we pick up, if anything looks interesting enough to pick up, or at least give our final thoughts on the entire entertainment aspect of this all. And it's very it's going to be very interesting, very exciting, and I'm looking forward to experiencing Universal Mardi Gras. So
there's supposed to be some kind of scavenger hunt going on too. I don't have the details. I haven't seen it released, but there's some kind of scavenger hunt.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every event now has to have a scavenger hunt at Universal, from when it went to Halloween to then Christmas. Then it only makes sense to have it as well at Mardi Gras. So I'm totally for it. It's a free way to keep people entertained by just being able to bounce around the park looking for stuff in gift shops. Maybe they buy something once they get in a gift shop. Who knows? Like, everyone gets to live their best Universal life at Universal Mardi Gras. I think that's the plug, if I got that correctly. Gonna assume I did.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, fantastic. We don't know. So I don't think, does anyone else have any more input on Universal Mardi Gras? Anything to say? I know, Elaine, you're probably not going to it, so you have nothing. But Rhino, are you excited to see it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know this. Anytime there's food, I'm always excited. I'm sad for the lack of concerts, obviously, but it's obviously we're not there yet, so.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to sit outside and watch a concert with a lot of people right now, especially if it was a big act. So that part's not bumming me out too much. But okay, we clearly have nothing else to say about it until we actually experience it. So stay tuned for that. Mardi Gras is running tomorrow, or whoever. I don't know when you're watching this, so I shouldn't just assume that. But February 6th through March 28th, Sunday, March 28th. So I think that is it for this episode. Does anyone else have anything to add that we might have missed? No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, then we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Of course, remember, once again, please hit that thumbs up on this video. Please make sure you're subscribed to DIS Unplugged on YouTube. And if you need help booking a trip to Universal Orlando, please consider using Dreams Unlimited Travel. And you can, of course, get in touch with one of the great agents like Elaine, or Elaine herself, at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch us or listen. We truly appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed how awkward it was the entire time. Very, very awkward, as if we've been a little bit rusty with this, considering we haven't had to talk about Universal on a show in 4 months. So we'll have to get our sea legs back under us here, so that way it's a lot less awkward the whole time. But okay, thanks for watching, everyone. Truly hope you appreciated it. We'll see you real soon with another Universal Edition episode. Take care. Bye-bye.